Welcome back, Pirate Crew. It's your captain, Yeehaw Yadam, coming back with another gameplay commentary video. This one, I don't know if people have been asking about it, but Crocodile is on the menu for today. Now, it is a deck that I haven't really seen much love for. Understandably, Romance Dawn came out, we wanted new shiny cards, and the mono blue deck of choice became Doflamingo, as it was this really interesting game mechanic as opposed to Crocodiles, which is, I would argue, mundane leader effect of just bouncing cards. But Crocodile is very, very strong, and the fact that he is a Baroque Work leader, you get to play a bunch of really good Baroque Works cards, specifically Miss All Sunday, who is just all sorts of broken. And you get to use that in conjunction with very big, powerful cards to gain board control. You know, something really nice about Crocodile is that when you dump your 7-drop, your 9-drops, you can also use the Dawn -4 effect to get kind of a double dip effect. And if you remember the limited battle series that happened, Flamingo Flip is a very, very powerful tempo turn. So let's get right into the game. This is probably one of the worst matchups. Kaido into Crocodile. With all the new tools that Kaido got, it's just much more aggressive and much more difficult for Crocodile to handle. So I'm going to try to commentate over this. I have sped this up quite substantially because this took a lot of time. So Kaido going first, pass. I have a weak start. I pass right back. And he decides to go 5. Now my hand is looking a little crusty. I kind of wanted to Desert Spotter there to fix it, and it wouldn't be purple if they didn't have Onigashima. So I go ahead and I swing 5 at leader here. He takes the hit. I use my Dawn a little weird, but basically I get my Doflamingo out. I get to cycle off the top of the deck, and cycling is really, really good because I do play the Pacifista engine, so I can look at the top of my deck, make sure that I draw what's good, and then Pacifista, shuffle it back, and then go and decide what is good for the future. Mixing it with cards like Love Beam and draw cards like Boa Hancock, also super duper powerful. Unfortunately, I just don't have them in my hand. So there's something to be said about potentially bottom decking what I see until I get to those very powerful cards. Now, I do make a block here as a fun joke. We're just having fun. Joaquim and I were just talking, otherwise known as Wa Fiend. And I choose to block and swing, drop the Mihawk, because I was going to drop the Mihawk no matter what. He goes and plays a Queen. Very solid couple turns. Stage Queen already. We're already getting the Kaido special. I go ahead and swing 5 at leader with my Doflamingo. I don't think these 3-cost play cards are very, very impactful against purple, and I do value the early game aggression using my big top end of Crocodiles, Mihawks, Flamingos to close out the game. So I go ahead, I swing here, I swing again. Again, this is another small mistake. If I keep my Dawn up, it kind of leaves my turn a lot more open. My opponent really doesn't know where I'm going with those 4 Dawn, what I can do with those 4 Dawn. So it gives a lot more mystery, and you want to keep as much mystery as you can, especially in card games. The less information your opponent has, the more susceptible they are to make poor decisions. So by me telegraphing my entire turn, there is no mystery. So definitely a small just player mistake here. And yeah, new year, same mistakes, huh? So we'll go ahead and pass it right back to Joaquim. Joaquim decides to go 5 at leader here. There is something also to be said about the importance of swinging with your leader as opposed to characters, because if your characters are committed, then they're easier to clear, which leaves you most susceptible for easy board clears for following turns. So try to swing last if you can, but tough. Then he goes Queen over Flamingo. I can't defend that, and I let that go. I go ahead and Spada the first attack, and I'm just over comboing left and right, mostly because I want to set up a Miss All Sunday. Now, there is really no need for me to set up the Miss All Sunday, because what I can do, looking at the board state here, is I can go ahead and use this turn to develop a 7-drop Croc. If I go ahead and I develop the 7-drop Croc here, keep the Mihawk in hand, there's just not really a way that he can pressure me on this turn, and instead I really, really overcommit into killing this Queen. I do get a Blast Breath for my endeavors, but at what cost? At what cost? So I go 8, go 7, and it's just all sorts of wrong thresholds, wrong understanding of tempo. It just isn't right. The reason I say the 7-drops are so strong, the only way for purple to really truly deal with the 7-drop cards is by going 10-drop Kaido. Now he's not going to 10, so there's no feasible way that he can do so, and Crocodile will get me a lot of value over the course of multiple turns while also playing a very powerful card onto the board. And by me not noticing that play, it really puts me in a susceptible position this following turn. So, yep. That's all I gotta say. And that's why we watch these videos. Those small mistakes really do end up adding up. So he goes and attacks. I go ahead and block with Miss All Sunday, recycling this, and I definitely cannot defend the Gecko Moria. If I really wanted to defend the Gecko Moria, I would have defended the 6 at the 5 and then kept the Miss All Sunday for the following swing. But again, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. So I finally get to go to 10 Dawn here, which is excellent. 10 Dawn is exactly where Crocodile wants to be. So I go ahead and I use my 1 active Dawn swing at the Queen, force a card out of their hand if they want to keep the Queen, and then I'm certainly going to go Mihawk flip. Now imagine I Mihawk flipped and had a Crocodile on the board this turn. A Crocodile on board with 2 Spadas in hand. Yeah, I wish. So that's one of my mistakes, right? I didn't know when it was the right time to develop the Croc, and that really bites me in the butt the rest of the game because purple lists are so weird. I don't know what people are playing anymore, so I make the wrong choice left and right. And this is just a really rusty game, really rusty blue game. Goes ahead and swings. I start moving my Mihawk off the board because I thought he was going to just 10 drop me. I'm just so used to getting 10 dropped that he makes a fantastic play here, plays the 9 drop, doesn't swing, keeps 1 active. Oof. Definitely by keeping the Dawn active, he makes sure that there's no feasible way that he's behind in tempo in terms of Dawn management, and he's actually ahead. I went down by 4 and he's kept it all the way up to 10. So I'm in a tough spot already, but I finally see my Centaumaru, which was the last card that he hit in life. I summon the Pacifista from the deck, and then the last Dawn on my board is certainly going to be the Law. Now there is something to be said about potentially flipping the Queen here, but if you flip 2 turns in a row as Crocodile, you're just way too off on the Dawn. You can't use your Dawn that aggressively because Dawn is power, and that's exactly why that Kaido not minusing Dawn there was so unbelievably backbreaking for me. Very good play. I think I stopped the game there and I was like, Joaquin, that play is certainly going to win you the game. That was very strong. I condemned them on that. So, and immediately as I saw a win condition, a way out, King comes in and just says, no win condition for you, brother. Just, hiya, get out of here. And then here it becomes a little bit difficult. He goes 8 at my face. I take the hit because I feel I'm afraid that if I dump cards from my hand, then Mihawk is gone. And if Mihawk is gone, I cannot deal with this board. And then in him noticing that, he sees an opportunity for him to go and swing his 10k at my face. And now all of a sudden, I'm at 1 life facing 3 characters against purple. Not the spot you want to be. Not the spot you want to be. So we're at 10 Dawn once again. A great place to be as Crocodile. We have a Queen on board, so he denotes this. He makes sure that the Queen dies. Very, very solid. He knows that the Queen, if it doesn't block, it's just going to get flipped. So a good use of his time. And then I'm kind of afraid. I don't think I can ever contest his board. He has a lot of cards in hand. I don't think I can force him to get the 2Ks out. There's just no way that I can pressure this Kaido adequately. And I decide, well, I only have 1 potential win condition, and that's to just Unga Bunga, which is it is not my favorite gameplay, but it is certainly a style of gaming. It is something that they really enjoy in the East. They're just face. You better answer this, boy. But yeah, it's not a position I want to be in where I'm like, well, I have to Hail Mary this and pray that it goes well. So he goes 9 to my face here. Right, so I combo out of the 9 pretty easily. I Desert Spada. I have a lot of really good cards coming back to back on me. Finally get to see my Love Beam. A little too late, but it is. And then I combo out of the 9. And with 2 blockers, it becomes a little bit harder for him to kill me. Now I'm terrified of Who's Who here. Who's Who really seals the game for me because he would be using 3, then he would burn, and then 8, 10, and then I'm certainly dead, right? With 3 cards in hand. So fortunately though, he doesn't have the Who's Who, and he overcommits Dawn here. Arguably he goes 12 into the Mihawk. Now it's exactly the amount. I think it was 11. Now I only have a way to get him to 11, so I have to block him here. Again, if I lose the Mihawk, I lose my pressuring card. So I go ahead and I use All Sunday, cycle back the Desert Spada, and then he only has 1 attacker left, 2 Dawn. Doesn't look terrible for me, right? And he goes 10 at my Pacifista. And I opt to block. Now, this block is horrendous for me, right? Because had I kept this blocker, now I know exactly what's coming off the top of my deck. It's the Love Beam plus the Miss All Sunday. And I'm going to pause the video here because that was another crucially bad play. Now, it looks good, right? I keep the Pacifista. I have a condition where I can potentially swing for lethal this turn. For me to hit lethal, all 3 attackers need to go in. It's the Crocodile, the Pacifista, and the Mihawk. Now, they're not poorly statted, but he's at like 6 cards in hand. Or sorry, 4 cards in hand. As he gains those 2 life, he will go to 6. And making sure that 9 hits on a 6 hand is really, really hard. So I definitely, by blocking there, now I have legitimately, if you look at my hand here, I have 2 Crocodiles, a Desert Spada, a Teach, and a Love Beam. These Crocodiles just rotted in my hand the entire game. And it's not that they're bad cards. I just didn't see it myself when it was the correct opportunity to summon them. If I had, imagine had I had a Crocodile this entire game plus my Mihawk, plus the Spadas. Oh boy. So there is something to be said about this turn, right? Had I kept my blocker up, let's say I lose the Pacifista here, I now go ahead and Teach, bounce the Black Maria, then I use my Mihawk to swing over the king, and then I still have enough Dawn to potentially develop the Crocodile, right? So I go Crocodile, I don't play the Teach, I go Crocodile for 7, use 4 of that 7 to bounce the Maria, and then I place 2 on the Mihawk, 1 on the Croc, and we are gaming, right? So we definitely can potentially remove some cards from hand, keep the king, and now we have a blocker, plus a Mihawk, plus a Crocodile, and we are in a game state where we can potentially get this game rolling back in our favor. But unfortunately, I take the block here, and by immediately taking that block, I've put myself in a position where there's only 1 play that I can make, and it's just certainly not good enough. The only play that uses my Dawn efficiently is to summon the Teach, so I can -4, but Teach does the job on its own. So I'll bounce the Maria, and I decide that the best way to go about it is going 8, 9, 9. I'm not sure if the math adds up here. By adding the Maria back to his hand, I know he has a 1k, right? So if I had to go 8 here, because if I go 7, he has just a 2k plus the Maria. So I'm forced to go 8. Now he has a card in hand. No, I am forced to go 9. And then the 9 also goes in. And then now he has 6 cards in hand, and I have to pray to the Lord that a 9 goes through. And certainly the 9 doesn't go through, and I am immediately dead. So the rest of the game here is just us talking about how colossally I messed up this game. But it is what it is. Hindsight 2020. This was one of my first games playing Crocodile in a long time, but it's so easy to see now that I've stepped back and looked at this video a bit, exactly where I messed up. Even though this is a bad matchup, arguably, and I drew pretty poorly, it still was winnable at multiple game states had I just made the right decision. But wrong decision after wrong decision. Once I think you make 2 wrong decisions in a row, this game is so punishing that it'll just immediately say, there is no coming back, go to sleep, it is over. And Joaquin, he played excellent. Joaquin, I have to commend you, brother. Not only did you let me borrow those Mihawks, you slammed me in tournament, so you played really well. Holding back on the Kaido, using his Dawn effectively, and then making sure to bait me into blocking and taking hits. He just played it really well, and he opened up a clinic on me. Excellent gameplay. I really want to commend him on that. So I hope you guys learned something. I will be posting a Crocodile deck list in the near future, as well as another couple Crocodile games, as other players at locals were deciding to play Crocodile on this exact same day, which is kind of cool. So I'll make sure I have a lot of Crocodile content for the future, because I do think it is a deck that we need to explore. It's one that's a little bit forgotten, and it's really strong. It felt very good. This was my worst game of the night. The rest of the games went a lot more clean after I gave it a good little shuffle, and I started removing the rust of Crocodile off of me, but definitely give it a go. And as always, guys, if you like the video, leave a like. It helps a lot. Comment down below if you want to go ahead and interact with me in some sort of way in the comments. And as always, if you're not part of the crew and would like to join the Yeehaw gang, the Yeehaw crew, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Appreciate everything you guys are doing, and I'm outie. That was a terrible outro. Later, bye.